So this is basically what we want to do first. So make sure that your team has an access to the Raspberry Pi, and we want to actually install mqtt. So mqtt is a communication broker, and it actually supports the publish-subscribe pattern. So anybody has an idea what publish-subscribe is? What? Yeah, so basically, if somebody publishes an event, you can have several subscribers who actually are notified that this event was there. So if basically somebody is publishing temperature data, so then you can have several listeners which actually get this temperature data. So there's a lot of, if any communication happens over the network, this is one of the most fundamental principles to actually do organized communication, publish, subscribe. And this is the feature mqtt is good at. It just supports publish, subscribe. It also supports this to do it in a secure manner. However, we will not do it secure here at the moment. I know that we have some persons who are very interested in security, so as a personal challenge for you, do mqtt maybe secure, but you don't have to. But as you're already a little bit advanced, it's not very hard to actually create credentials for mqtt, but I will not cover this at the moment because we have not enough time for it. So what you actually have to do, you log into the Raspberry Pi and install Mosquitto and Mosquitto tools. So let's do that. We go to the Pi, and I hope it is there. Perfect. See, I have also passwordless login. So I become root, and I say apt install Mosquitto. And you see Mosquitto is just a play of words with mqtt in there. And Mosquitto tools. So we'll install this on the Raspberry Pi. Wrong? Great. And let's just install Mosquitto first. So if you know what the package name was?
Python?
No, the Mosquitto, the mqtt server and tools, because I want to first show on the command line the publish subscribe mechanism.
No,
Okay. So you don't have. No, I want that everybody is able to also install their own mqtt server, but you can use a different one. That is fine.
But if you use one, I think.
Oh, Mosquitto works pretty well without any other.
Okay. I have.
Yep. Okay, so we have Mosquitto, but we don't have anything else. So this is sad. So let me see where the tools actually are. I use a tool which is called Aptitude, which is kind of a semi-graphical package manager for Linux. Problem is the Raspberry Pi is a little bit slow, so we actually now search in this package manager for Mosquitto packages, and might be utils or tools, but I don't know actually. It's 1.3. I don't think that it makes a big difference for what we are. So let's see what the name is, Mosquitto, and see what depends on Mosquitto. Nothing. Okay, let's search more. Mosquitto clients. Okay, they renamed it from Mosquitto tools to Mosquitto clients. So I install now Mosquitto clients. So this is the same as I would type apt install mosquitto clients. Yeah. So I have a little bit of complaints here because I have the Raspberry comes in a British configuration and I use a mixed US German configuration. You can ignore these warnings actually are there. The nice thing is basically Mosquitto works out of the box. So after we have installed it, I can actually show you already that I can subscribe and publish packages. We can easily even I can install on my main computer the Mosquitto clients. That's my main computer. You can get these also for Windows or for something else and then interact. So I will actually show you. So I'm here on my Raspberry Pi and here I'm on my local computer. You see the local computer is a little bit faster. And I will now do a very simple example where I just send something from my local computer to the Raspberry Pi and show you how easy it is to connect. And then we will go actually a step further and connect our little device here. Okay. I usually clean the package cache in the end, so now we should be all set and have the Mosquitto server already running on the Raspberry Pi. Because we only have to install it and it should be in an unsecured manner running. So now I should have Mosquitto subscribe, and so if you look at the command, it actually says you just call it without any parameters and it will give you a little documentation. And so I will now subscribe to a topic from the Raspberry Pi and then it will actually publish something to the topic somewhere else. So what do we need for this? Basically you need you need the topic and you need the host. So you need here the -h host and you need -t topic. So we do subscribe -h. So as we running on the Raspberry Pi itself, I will just subscribe to localhost and the topic, take something very intelligent like test. You give it yourself. You can actually look which topics are published. So you can actually list. So there are actually several graphical publish, subscribe, and Mosquitto tools which list all the topics which are subscribed to. But it depends on the server. So you can create any topics you like. So we just take now the topic test. Usually you group them with slashes. You do something like test, my test, other tests, and so on.
Test is the program.
Test is the channel, the communication channel, or the communication topic I create. So this one is now listening for anything which is sent under the name test. So if I now say from here, this is now on my local computer, I want to publish something. So let's see how publish works. And also here we have host, we have topic, and then you see you can basically send something in there. So I think how it works is I can do something like echo hello and pipe this into my publish command, mosquitto publish to the host, which is now the Raspberry Pi 192.168.12.21, if I remember correctly. And I want to publish it under the topic test. Oh, this doesn't work. Great. Maybe I need to give the message. It's Deutsch M. So, sorry, I don't pipe it in there. I use -M. So, and you see now here, we got a hello there. So that is all. It is really easy to set up mqtt. I always can do network-based communication. So in principle, if you would be in my network here, you could now also send messages. It's kind of difficult from the security standpoint. So if you want to make it secure, you use actually an encrypted communication and you share a certificate to actually then access the channel. But usually for your home, it would be you have one gateway which runs the Mosquitto server, which accidentally we put on the Raspberry Pi because Mosquitto is very, very low, uses very little resources. So it basically on any little computer you can run a Mosquitto server. Yeah. I think it is, yes, but I don't know exactly how. Yeah, but you could prove me wrong. So what I have done so far is only that you have one specific certificate, which is for the whole server, not for specific topics. It might be not possible with this version. Yeah. Yes. And you can even create new topics. Yeah. Yeah. I think I don't know if Mosquitto actually supported, but I think there are actually implementations of Mosquitto where you can do it topic based. Yeah. So okay, so we have managed to do that. So now we want to actually put our little device here on the Mosquitto network. So we will have the oh, great. Of course, I haven't set up this device yet, so I have to create the Wi-Fi config for my device to actually go in there. And now I show you a little easier way to create the Wi-Fi config, because if you have a Linux computer, you can actually directly program the Wi-Fi config. So I will go to my GitHub copy of the IoT thing, and I have a little temp folder in there, and I copy now the example of the Wi-Fi config. So now you will get my Wi-Fi password, which is extremely secret. So my Wi-Fi network I'm running here is basically using the internal Wi-Fi antenna to broadcast the Wi-Fi network on now ulno surface IoT Empire. And the Wi-Fi password for this is Internet of Things. And now I just need to copy this Wi-Fi config to the device. And so some of you have already talked with me. There is something else than web REPL. There is a little command which is called mpf shell. And with this, I can either connect via the network, so can I do something like open WebSocket and go somewhere, or I can actually go directly via the serial interface, and now I'm actually inside this device here. Nice thing, it supports things like LS, so you can actually really look at the file system on the device. but I need just to put my Wi-Fi config now on there, and then I log in and I reset and hope that I can actually, that it will go into the Wi-Fi. Oops, something. I think it's fine. It shows that it is connected. Good. But I don't know why it didn't. This was a problem with MPF shell. Okay, so open. Nah, it really. Start again. So there we go. And let's see if I come in there now. There's an REPL, so I'm now in the shell. And this is connected to the same network now as the MQTT, the Raspberry running MQTT. The Raspberry is still running MQTT, so we will now try if we can send to this listener some message on the test channel. So how do we figure out how we can actually use oh great. I don't know why it kicks me out all the time. So I will use the REPL method to actually go in there. Let's connect our REPL to the port here. Okay. So the first thing we have to do is we have to import the MQTT module, which I have prepared and put for you on there. This is why we had to change all these devices. Did everybody of you get a new thing? Else you need to come to me and I can reprogram your device for you. So, and it's actually kind of funny, a lot of things in MicroPython, you know that the micro symbol is often abbreviated as a U, yeah? So they start with U. So if you want to use JSON, for example, on MicroPython, you don't import JSON, you import UJSON. And if you want to use MQTT, you need actually to import UMQTT. So there's actually now something which is called simple. There's a simple and a robust. So we'll probably start working with UMQTT simple. And from there, we take actually MQTT client. From this, we take MQTT client. And now I have to look up actually how the syntax of MQTT client was. So how would you do it? You ask Google UMQTT MicroPython. You will find this page. And then we see, example pub. So let's look at that. That's what I did. And you see, it's not that hard. So let's just try if we can take it apart. So we just need this command. I need a mouse. So we copy this command first, and we're not in there. Go to REPL. REPL shell. Paste. So, and I think the first one was the topic. So our topic was test, and the server was localhost. what do we have in? See what we have to do next. We should connect. So let's try to connect. Maybe I should have taken mqtt client. I don't know. I think that was the ID actually. Test is also fine as that. Let's do this now and try if we can connect. Please. That's kind of sad. It doesn't say much why it aborted. Oh, thank you. That is good. We have a lot of people watching. Uh, 12 to 21 was my Raspberry Pi, wasn't it? Yeah. It's not plug and play, you know. That would be sad if this doesn't work, because then I leave you with more work than you need. Maybe this had a reason why I needed to bring here. Okay, so I'm back here with actually giving you a solution for how to solve the mqtt problem. That was kind of funny that I actually got stuck at this point because in principle I did the thing. The problem was just that I used the wrong router for because I don't have the routers. I give them all to you. So I think you would have been just successful in your router because I'm using kind of a way of mirroring things. I had a little trouble. I don't have a Wi-Fi antenna to actually work. So now I switched actually from a Raspberry Pi to a chip computer. You can actually see that log in to chip computer and see actually Mosquitto running on this. Here we can subscribe to it. So if we manage to send something, it actually this is actually on my computer, and now we are here. And as I said, it's actually really important from a simple from this is actually login to ulno thing. We can do simple port client, and we can create a new client. And so this is basically an ID. Thing. Say that the address will connect chip Pi, and now we want to connect to this. Then you see you get 0, which means successful. And now we want to actually publish under a specific topic, which is S topic, some kind of message. And you see it actually arrives. So that is actually all what we needed. So that was pretty easy, and basically the manual I gave you was completely correct. So this is a relay. And I will need you as a witness. Go back to the I closed this. Okay. let's go back to our little controller. Not connected yet. So let's do it again. I can also log in via web. Let's take this again, say disconnect, and let's reload this. IoT.ulno. So this little relay shield here, which you also have to use for actually doing the lock. So you take actually then one of the locks. In principle, how does this lock work? Or some. So this lock is now actually closed, and the lock opens when I give it power. Oh. And now you see when it has power, it's actually open and you can go in there. So what you basically have to do is you network these two cables you have here inside of the relay, and then the relay switches. It basically opens this lock. So now let's see if we can switch the relay. And to do the relay, you want to actually get access to the pins. So you do from machine import pin, and then you say I get this pin, and this is on pin 5. Which I just happen to know. And this is, you have to define this pin as an out pin. So, and now I can say, as before, set it high and low, like we did with the lights. So if I now say pin high, and you're very quiet. Have you heard this? And so if I say pin low, why? It's off again. So that's basically how we will build the lock. So this part actually will work very easily. So you just need to connect these two wires here. You have to try out. It might be the left two ports or the right two ports to bridge it. It's usually bridging the center to one of the sides. And so that is how you build the lock. So how do you do the NFC stuff? And I hope that the other one is really just the library I forgot. On the Raspberry Pi, and this is kind of difficult, so look at the manual here. I uploaded for you a lot of pictures of how you actually need to wire up the thing on the Pi. Yeah, or you can also take pictures yourself, but so if you look here, you get several pictures how this kind of NFC reader and writer is actually wired to the Pi. So they are in high resolution, so you can zoom in and actually see which ports are really wired there. Yeah. So you might have to wire this yourself. You all get one of these ports. So, but this is not the hard stuff. So the hard stuff is actually getting the software on the Raspberry Pi, which I have documented too and tested. So you look at the NFC install here. So we first need some dependencies on the Raspberry Pi, so you know kind of to execute the apt stuff. Yeah. I also give you two of my favorite tools. One is MC and aptitude. You don't need this, but MC is something to easily on the command line deal with files, and aptitude you have seen before is something to look for packages you don't know actually that you need it. So it's, if you need a little bit more than apt, then you want to actually use aptitude. But so you can skip this in here, but I just, as probably everybody of you does it, I just thought, okay, let's install them also, MC and aptitude. But important is actually all this Python stuff, and actually what might be interesting for you is this virtual env. Python has always kind of supported virtualization, even before we had virtualization in terms of machine virtualization before. And so it is very easy to set up a virtual Python environment. The problem is if you install a Python package which is not already in the package manager of your system, you might easily mess up the installation of your whole system. Because Python just writes somewhere in the default packages its installation thing. So the most secure way is usually to have a separated virtual Python environment. And you do this with actually creating this virtual environment. So we first get the dependencies. So these are the dependencies from the system, and here's the software we actually need. The connection here is via a so-called SPI bus. So next time we will actually talk a little bit about bus systems, and one of these buses is SPI, and this is how the NFC reader is connected. Also, this little device supports SPI, but we are now using the SPI bus of the Raspberry Pi because the software is better for it than for this. So this is why we need this SPI Pi, and this MFRC 522. This is just the chip we actually use here for reading it. So everybody of you gets one of these MFRC 522 chips. So this is why you need to do this. And so I create this PyNFC directory in the home folder. And in this directory, I now create the virtual Python environment. I've done this already. So I discuss here these things with you. And after you have done this, you have to activate it, which you do with sourcing it. This is why you do the dot and then bin activate. And after this, all the system variables are kind of changed. And it doesn't install anymore in a root folder, but it installs everything in this virtual folder. A little bit, if you know it, a little bit like change root. So then we have to build this SPI Pi. And now, because I'm in the virtual environment, it will not install it somewhere into the system, but it will just install it locally. And you just do this with calling the setup system. And yeah, so let's now, the last one we will just try together. You can also, just as a hint, you can automate this stuff with kind of activating things. So now if you do your system at home, you want to probably put it all in a script so that the activation happens automatically. And you do that basically in writing a bash script. I have some boilerplate here, which actually automatically finds the directory where this bash script is. So I would actually highly advise that you start your bash script with all these lines, because then you can actually go directly to the directory where it is, and then you can actually activate it easily. And then you can, in this script, you can just call your Python script, which will then be using automatically this new install stuff. So let's now try it out ourselves. And you can, there's actually a pretty nice example. So I don't need to be root for this because I have used the virtual environment. So you see I have created this PyNFC folder. And I need now to do the activation. You can then see, okay, you are now in this PyNFC area, so your prompt actually changes. Now I can go to this MRC Python, and if you look, there's actually Python code, which is not hard to adjust. So basically you have to create a reader, and this reader is then just running and analyzing the IDs. And so on an NFC card, you usually have an ID and you have some data segment. You know, you can put URLs and stuff on there. But for our project, we are just fine with actually detecting the ID. We can code then our door opening scenario with the ID of the NFC card we have. And then use this NFC card as a trigger say, okay, with this ID, we want to do something. So let's run this program. And for this, we just have to say Python read. So, and now I need some NFC tag. Or you might know that my ring is actually NFC. So I can take my ring, see, and I've put my ring there. It actually, you see now the ID of my ring, so you can all make sure that you can code it to 1642514. Or if I take one of these cards, it also supports dumps the data of this. So you can also program and put some special code on the card and then use this special code to actually do that. You check it. Or you mean the what is actually written on the card? There are several programs for Android, free programs where you can adjust and modify these cards. But I would actually say, as a default, don't bother. Do something and code it on the ID, because every card has a unique ID. Yeah. So first, please just do something which is based on the ID. If you get ambitious, you can make it more secure and put some code on the card. But for example, my ring is not totally supported from this device. So I can see the ID of my ring, but as you then see, there is some authentication issue with actually reading the data on my ring. Yeah, you can use this to program. Or you can also use the phone, of course, to trigger the signal and then communicate via mqtt with this device. Yeah? But so basically, you can now kind of, and of course, you should kind of develop a little bit of story. Say, okay, this reader is now installed at my door. And then say, okay, and if somebody comes with the ring or with this card, so the idea is just that I put the card there and then trigger this here.